Brunswick Group Therapy Podcast, Group Therapy.
All right, welcome to another episode of Brunswick Group Therapy Podcast, special edition. This is Kelsey. May is Water Safety Month, National Water Safety Month. So wanted to bring her in and get a little information from her. Kelsey, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about you, where you got your knowledge and how you use it?
Yeah. So I started off actually doing ISR infant swimming resource for my daughter. When she was 9 months old, we put her through the program. It was important for us. My parents have a pool. My in-laws have a pool. There's a pond in our backyard, like all the things. So at 9 months old, we put her in, and just, I think about 2 years into her doing lessons, fell in love with it, decided to become an instructor. I was driving to Avon and Seven Hills for her lessons from Brunswick. So it was a commitment, and I wanted to bring it closer to this area as well. So
okay, who's most susceptible to water safety and drowning?
Drownings affect kids the most, ages 1 to 4. As soon as they can crawl, as they can walk, the water is an immediate danger to them. And the most dangerous thing, it's the #1 cause of childhood deaths, unfortunately, is drowning. So, and it doesn't just mean pools. It can be, a puddle. As weird as that sounds, bathtubs for children under a year can be a danger. Buckets of water that you're playing with. It can be as shallow as a few inches. If that child doesn't know how to navigate that sensation and that feeling, it can.
So start them off I remember taking swim lessons, but I think it wasn't until I was, 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade.
Yes.
So start them off as young as possible.
Absolutely.
And you can teach them water safety at that young of an age.
My daughter, so our program, Infant Swimming Resource, we say I use just 6 months to 6 years. I will never turn away a child. I actually had a 9-year-old autistic child in my session in January. So I'll never deny a child water safety at all, but for developmental reasons, for the skill, they have to be able to sit unassisted, which is around 6 months of age that the child knows to do that. So we start them that young, and when they're pre-walking, all they learn is just, if they're face down in the water, roll up to a float and get air and just stay there. The way we teach them through sensory motor learning, they learn really quickly, and we get them to a point where they will literally just wait. It's kind of funny watching a baby just like hang out like this with their head or their hands out, just chilling in the water.
And then they just know. Yeah,
they just know to wait until mom and dad come and get them, or someone finds them. Yeah. Come and get them. And then once they're walking, they learn the swim, float, swim. Okay. So swim, rest to float, and then swim again until they get to an edge or water. But still at that age, if need be, if they can't get to it, they still know to just float and wait for safety. Okay. So
what does drowning sound or look like? Like, what should parents be aware of? And
this is the thing people don't realize, because movies make it sound like this big splash and all this. Right. It is silent. Okay. Drowning can happen in as little as 20 seconds, and it is quiet. I actually had a mom in one of my sessions when we were, our program, we simulate real life scenarios, stepping off of a step, falling in from the side, different scenarios like that. And she had the connection right then when she was watching him. She goes, I didn't even realize that you did that to him. I didn't even hear him go under. And I said, yeah, that's how quickly and that's how silent it is. It's not this big ordeal. It's just a child simply vertical in the water, and, maybe a hand up if they're tall enough or something, but yeah, you can't hear them.
Do you use any kind of devices when you're teaching swim?
So that is part of ours with the sensory motor learning. There's no, what are those? The paddle boards, boogie boards, anything like that. Nope. It's all just the child feeling it and how we touch the child, handle them, and our cues that way that kind of tell them what to do. Okay. and and we teach them in a controlled environment. So we're there controlling everything around them as much as we can, but most of it. And for the most part, we're giving them a lot of support, and then slowly just the child learns to do it on its own.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's nothing there. That's what the parents are like, how do you, like a 6-month-old, you can't tell a 6-month-old what to do.
Right.
It's just literally all by how we do it and our hand cues and everything like that.
And how long have you been doing this to learn this? Or?
I got certified. I finished my training in October of 2023. Started my first session at the Strongsville Rec Center in January of 2024. So I'm going on a year and a half now.
Okay.
And I'm starting my 7th session with these kids.
And you say sessions are how long, and how long does it go for?
Our program is 5 days a week we say 6 to 8 weeks. Some kids may take longer, but most of my kids are done within that 6-week time frame. And it's a 10-minute lesson, one-on-one with me. That child is my only concern for those 10 minutes, 5 days a week for 6 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like a pretty important investment.
Yes, it's an investment, and that's one of the things we get a lot from parents is like, it's how much?
Oh.
And absolutely, it's an investment, but when you break it down, there's other traditional swim schools and stuff where your child may not learn these skills for 3-4 years. And how much money have you put in it at that point? So we are one of the only programs that can guarantee our child will have these skills and will be better equipped to handle the water environment within the 6-week time frame.
All right.
I drove 35-40 minutes one way, spent the money on my daughter, and it was the best. I would do it. I would pay even more money for it. It's well worth it.
All right. And what else do you want parents to know about swim safety and pool water safety?
So as we go into summer, swim safety is not just one thing. Flotation devices are actually a hindrance to the child, especially when it comes to the water. It gives the child a false sense of confidence. They're jumping in, they're having so much fun, they're by themselves, but 86% of drownings actually happen during non-swim times. So they're not supposed to be in the water.
Okay.
They're likely fully clothed, and they're maybe reaching in for a ball. Again, maybe they were playing and they just misstepped and fell in the water. But that's usually when it happens, when the parents don't have a life vest on them, don't have that blanket of security. And then at the same time, kids, when they are in the pool, they think they can do it because they don't make the connection that the life vest is what's keeping me safe. Okay. They just know, I'm in the water having fun, right. And I'm doing it by myself. So being with your child in the water, keeping flotation devices off of them until they're out of the water. Like you go to an ocean, you go on a boat. When do you put a life vest on in those situations?
Before you get in.
Before you're in, right? When you're on the boat in case something were to happen, not, oh, I'm going in the water, so I need to put my life vest on. It's an in case I accidentally fall in. But for, over the years and stuff, like they've been marketed as a fun pool toy, a way to make it easier. And it's going to the pool with your kid it's not a relaxing experience. It's not something, and I've heard it from the lifeguards and everything, that some parents just put their kid in with the life vest and walk away, and the water's not a babysitter.
Yeah.
And it's that false sense of security that makes it even more dangerous. It puts them, the drowning position is actually vertical. So the life vest put them in that, allow them to tread water, allow them to get air above water in this position. When really the safest position is horizontal with their head up. And especially little babies, the proportion of their body is their heads compared to their body, it makes them even more, they're just gonna go down. As the child grows, it gets easier to tread, but still within those first, 5 years of life or so, it's not the best for them. And they're gonna get tired. And if they don't know how to float, they can't get that rest to be able to do it. So flotation devices, you should be in the child with your water, holding them, keeping them in the shallow end, still with them, but if you have a zero entry or a shallow pool that they can stand in, that's great. But I've even had kids at Strongsville, they come across that rope. Have you ever been to the Strongsville pool? So they have a zero entry with the pirate ship, the famous pirate ship. And then the slide part, and there's a rope, but it slopes down for the slide. The amount of kids that walk past that and they don't realize the slope, and then they feel it, but they can't figure out how to get back. That's where a lot of them do. Things happen, or the lifeguards, blowing the whistle, going to get them, or telling the parents and stuff. So, yeah, just learning how to navigate all of that and get into that position. Water should be nerve-wracking for parents, in all honesty. And putting my daughter through the lessons and seeing all these parents, it gives you a sense of, no child's drown-proof at all, but it gives me a sense of calm, knowing that my daughter would know what to do in that instance if anything had ever happened.
It's probably one of the most popular things in the summer, but also one of the most dangerous.
Yes. Yeah. And I always encourage my parents too, if you have multiple kids, don't try to take 3 kids to the pool by yourself, especially unskilled.
Yeah.
It's just going to be, it's a lot. You're trying to divide up your attention and everything. But great alternatives are those splash pads. Costco's got the big, what are they called? Oh, there's one at Costco right now that it's called something really funny, but the big blow up inflatable slides, like stuff like that, a sprinkler will give your child just as much fun as going to a big pool.
Yeah.
So there's so many alternatives. I know the big pools are, fun for the adults especially, but it's not so much fun when you take your child.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to share, or how can parents contact you if they would like more information? Or
if you want more information for ISR, there's 4 instructors here in Northeast Ohio. I am one of them. I teach out of Strongsville and Seven Hills. There's a instructor in Avon, and there's 2 instructors out in Amherst. Okay. And we go with neoisr.com is our website. You can get all of their links for everything. You can contact me through that as well, through an inquiry. And then my email is just kelsey.schultz@infantswim.com. Okay. So I am fully booked. My sessions honestly book 6 months in advance.
Yeah.
So the time to get your child water ready is in the wintertime. Not, come January, if you're trying to look for lessons in the spring, summer, it's probably not going to happen. We're all booked already, but yeah.
But as you open pools, be safe out there.
Yes.
Be cognizant of what's going on. It only takes 20 seconds.
Yeah, only takes 20 seconds. And having those layers. So ISR is one layer of protection. If you have a pool in your own backyard, if you're a pool owner, whether you have the children or not, having, door alarms, having a fence around the pool, making sure you're a responsible pool owner with making sure the fence is locked if no one's supposed to be in it, the cover's on if no one's supposed to be in it, bringing the toys out of the pool because, kids are going to go, I want that ball. There's 5 million balls in this yard, but I want that one that's in the pool.
Yeah.
So making sure all the toys are out, and making sure if there is, a pool party going on or something, that there is one adult specifically there to watch the children. They're under the supervision of them. Switch out every 15 minutes, no cell phone. The children in the pool are your only responsibility. And then switch that out so you can go get a break, go talk and do whatever. But so having all of those layers of protection and just ISR being another layer for that is very important.
Yeah, great information.
Yeah.
Kelsey, I appreciate you coming out today and sharing that information with our audience.
Thank you.
And take care.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Brunswick.
As always, I want to thank you for checking out the Brunswick Group Therapy podcast and for supporting local Brunswick area businesses. If you enjoyed your time, please check us out online at brunswickgrouptherapy.com, where you can continue the conversation with a voice message that may be featured on future podcast episodes or posts. You can also follow us on our Brunswick Group Therapy social media pages on both YouTube and Facebook. If you own or manage an area business and would like to be featured in an upcoming Brunswick Group Therapy podcast, please reach out to Kimberlee or I through any of our social media pages. We are passionate about supporting local, and it's the reason for this podcast.